Hello! Today I'm doing my December book haul. I have two books in here that I already had, but I haven't read them, so they're included in the haul as well. The first one of those is The Kitchen House by Kathleen Grissom. I bought this last month from Target just when I was walking around. Thought it looked kind of interesting, and so I decided that I would include it in this haul. I started reading it last night, and I'm on chapter 2, and I already am kind of like, ugh. The author made a big mistake in my opinion, and I'll have to come back to this after I actually finish the book and see if I still feel the same way. But she has a prologue, and the prologue is like 2 pages, and you find out that someone dies, and you're like, oh, that sucks. And then it gives you a description of like what they're wearing on their head. Sorry, my lighting, this shadow. And so on the next page in chapter 1, they describe a character who's wearing clothes like that. So I'm like, unless you're gonna do something totally bizarre and trick me into thinking that it's this person and then later on reveal that it isn't, I know who's dead. I know who dies. And I do not want to spend the entire book wondering how that happens. So I'll definitely have to come back and see how that is. But anyway, this is a book about a plantation in Virginia. It's still the time where black people are slaves, and it's about this girl, Lavinia, who is Irish, I believe. Yes. And her parents die on the way over to Virginia, and so she's taken in by the captain of the ship and put in the kitchen house to work. And so it's all about that, and her being a white girl working amongst black slaves and stuff like that. So it sounded really interesting, and I'm excited to read it. I really am looking forward to it. I just hope that that prologue doesn't make this book a problem. The next book is one that I've been meaning to get for quite some time, ever since Priscilla from the Readables mentioned it, and that is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I always want to say Clive. Ernest Cline. My video game teacher mentioned it a couple weeks ago, and then she mentioned it again yesterday, and so I remembered that I had been wanting to read it, and so I decided that I would get it. This is not the cover that I hoped I would find at Barnes & Noble, but it's the only one that they had, and I didn't care that much, so it's kind of cool. I kind of like it. It's not bad. So this is about, well, I'm not even going to try to tell you what it's about, because I just... So I'm really excited to read this book, especially because I'm so into video games right now that I'm looking forward to reading some fiction that has some video game stuff in there. And I just watched Wreck-It Ralph last week, and I really liked that, and I'm really into video games again, and I'm really happy that I got back into it, because I've always been into video games, but I've gone through periods of my life where sometimes I'm more interested than others. Anyway, really excited to read this. I've heard really good things about this, and I will let you guys know how I like it. The next book is another book that I've really been meaning to read for a long time, and 2 things have encouraged me to buy it. The first is that the movie of it is coming out, or it has come out, I'm not sure. And so, though I don't plan on going to see it, if I end up seeing it, I want to have read the book first. And the second is that my mom recommended it to me years and years ago, and I picked it up, but I guess I was not interested enough in that kind of writing to actually read it. So she's here, and she reminded me of it again, and so I went and I bought it, and it is The Life of Pi by Yann Martel. And I've heard really good things about this too, and I like this edition. This is the one that my mommy had too. Yeah, I'm very excited for this. That's all I have to say about all these books. I'm very excited for it. This should be a really good book. I'm looking forward to reading this. Then I bought no, that's not what I bought. That's not what it's called. That's the author. I bought Windhaven by George R.R. Martin and Lisa Tuttle. I originally actually picked up the book because his name is in the same place as it is on the Game of Thrones books. I thought it might be something to do with Game of Thrones, and then I picked it up and looked at the back, and it wasn't, but it sounds really interesting. It's about this water world called Windhaven where people become flyers, and this girl wants to be a flyer, but she doesn't have the inheritance to do so, and so she fights her way into becoming one, becomes one, and then stuff happens that makes it bad, I guess? I don't know. But it's not very long. It looks really interesting, and I'm happy that it's the same size as the Game of Thrones stuff, so it'll fit nicely in my collection. And then the last book for December book haul is A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. I totally spaced. This is going to be the first book that I read this month because my dad is coming in a couple weeks and then we're going to start watching the second season of Game of Thrones on TV. So I have to catch up and read this before we watch the series because I don't want to make the same mistake that I made the first time. So that is my book haul for December 2012. I hope you guys found some good titles and I will definitely be doing the reviews for those very soon. I'm going to leave now and go figure out where I'm going to put my stack of books. So I wonder if they'll fit on that. They'll probably fit on that. So I'm going to go and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!